Once upon a time, in a small, peaceful village nestled at the foot of a mountain, there lived an old lady who was deeply respected and loved by everyone. She lived alone in a modest little house at the edge of the village. Though simple, her home was always filled with laughter and warmth. Everyone in the village knew her as a kind-hearted, wise woman who was always radiating happiness. No one had ever seen her frown or complain, even when days of rain and hardship stretched on, or when misfortunes fell upon the village. The villagers often sought her out whenever their hearts were heavy with sorrow, or when they felt lost amid the worries of daily life. She would always welcome them with a gentle smile, listen with compassion, and offer words of wisdom that would ease their hearts. She was like a ray of warm sunlight piercing through the darkest days of the village. One fine afternoon, a young man from the village came to see her. He was a spirited young man, full of ambition but easily weighed down by the struggles of life. Sitting beside her, his eyes were filled with curiosity and a hint of doubt. "Dear Grandma, there's something I've long wanted to ask you," he began. "Why are you always so cheerful, always so happy? It seems like no matter what happens, you never feel sad. Don't you ever feel pain or despair?" The old lady smiled warmly, her eyes shining like stars in the night sky. She looked at the young man as if she was looking at her younger self. "My dear, life is like that, always a mixture of sunshine and storms. There will be joys, and there will be sorrows. But I have learned that happiness comes from within, not from the things that happen around you." The young man furrowed his brow, his confusion deepening. "I don't understand. How can anyone be happy when everything around them is falling apart? How can one smile when facing loss, failure, or injustice?" The old lady kept her gentle smile and began to tell a story from her own life, a story she rarely shared with anyone. "When I was young, I too believed that happiness came from grand things, a warm home, a united family, or fortunate events in life. I once had all those things. I had a loving husband and wonderful children. We were not wealthy, but we were happy enough to feel fulfilled with our simple meals and modest life. But then, life did not always smile upon me. One day, my husband fell gravely ill. We tried everything, spent every coin to buy medicine, but in the end, he still passed away. He left me with our children in unbearable pain and loss. I thought I would never find happiness again." She paused, her eyes reflecting a deep sorrow, as if the wound had never fully healed. Yet in her gaze also shone peace and acceptance. "I cried for days, for months. I lived in darkness, feeling abandoned by life. But one day, when I looked into the innocent, hopeful eyes of my children, I suddenly realized I could no longer drown in my sorrow. My children needed a strong mother. They needed a beacon of light to guide them forward. I could not let grief steal away all the beauty that still existed in my life." The young man remained silent, feeling every word sink deeply into his heart. "So what did you do to overcome it?" he asked. "I began to change the way I looked at everything. I learned to appreciate the small, simple things around me. Every morning when I woke up, I would tell myself, 'Today is a new day, and I will find one reason to smile no matter how small. It might be the gentle sunlight through the trees, the laughter of children, or simply the warmth of my breath in my chest.' When I learned to be grateful for these things, my heart slowly grew lighter, and the pain no longer weighed me down as before." The young man pondered deeply, as if a door had been opened in his mind. "But what if something truly terrible happens again? Can you still remain calm and joyful?" he asked. The old lady nodded, her face filled with wisdom. "Of course it will be hard in such times, but I always remind myself, nothing lasts forever, not even the worst moments. Everything will eventually pass. I will not allow those dark times to steal all the light from my life. I choose to focus on what I still have: my health, good friends, or even just the simple gift of being alive. Happiness is a choice, my dear. You can choose to look at the darkness and let it consume you, or you can choose to seek out the small rays of light and let them warm your heart. The young man was deeply moved. He bowed and thanked the old lady for her precious words. From that day on, he decided to try living the way she had shown him. He began to see the world through a lens of gratitude, cherishing the small things he once overlooked. Gradually, he realized his life became lighter, more peaceful, even when things did not go as planned. The old lady's story did not just change the young man's life, it spread throughout the village. The villagers began to understand that happiness was not something far away or unreachable, but something present in their daily lives. They learned to find joy in the song of the birds, in each other's smiles, in the simple, peaceful days they shared. From then on, the little village became a place full of laughter and positivity, all thanks to the old lady who had taught them that happiness is not about what you have or what happens to you, but about how you choose to see and live your life. And thus, her words continued to echo through time. Happiness is a choice. No matter how many challenges life throws your way, you can still find light in the little things around you. Hard times will pass, but a positive attitude will help you stay strong, resilient, and fulfilled.